Oh, yes. The morning drive is back. I'm Frank Barnes. The next voice you'll hear is Jack Kingston. Good morning, Jack Kingston.
Good morning, Frank. Great to be with you. Good background music.
Yeah, that's
lead-in music. What do you call it? Teaser?
Yeah, this is Typo Negative. It's a goth band. Yeah,
well,
you don't want
whatever.
You don't want to see this video. It's pretty brutal. Morning drive. You need a theme song. We don't have one that'll stick yet. I'm still working on it. Jack Kingston is with us for another 10 minutes after this today. 9 o'clock goes down to Bob Blue, downtown Valdosta, and a bunch of other places. So he is with us for a few precious moments. Quick things got to talk about. Your 18% plan. Why hasn't this gained more traction? What's going on here?
It was part of cut, cap, and balance. Not exactly, but close to it. But it's such common sense, because what we are saying is when your revenues are less than your expenditures, you're losing money. It's true in a household. It's true in a business. It's true in a charity. It's true in a church. It's true everywhere. It's a law of gravity. And right now, as a percent of GDP, spending is about 24%, and revenues historically have been 18%. Now, they're actually lower than that right now because of the economy, so the gap is even bigger, but the reality is you can't operate like that. But if I, as a member of Congress, can say to you, if you come up to me and say, hey, I want a new road for my area, and I can say, Mayor Barnes, I'm making that announcement.
Well, I like that sound.
Our governor Barnes.
Long overdue, but I said, okay, sure.
And I can say, listen, right now we are at 19%. We got to get it down 1%, and you understand that our revenues have to match our expenditures. You're going to say, oh, yeah, okay, I get it. But
sure.
the signal Congress has sent for the last 30 years around America is, we're over our revenues. We'll just print the money, and we'll get you that road. But, we are a responsible country. We're a country of responsible people. People can understand, no, we can't do that. And the cities have to do that. The counties have to do that. The states have to do it. They have to balance their budget. Basically, that's all this is another way to balance their budget. It would move us there in a 5-year path. A lot of people, when we're talking about spending cuts right now, and we say, oh, we got to cut $1 trillion, say, well, we're spending too much money. But the deficit or the debt has increased $3 trillion in the last 3 years, actually over about $3.5 trillion under President Obama. And did anyone think we were spending too little money when George Bush was president? No one did. And yet when we talk about going back, in Washington, when we talk about going back to a 2009, 2008 spending level, oh, you can't do that. They're rolling back.
It's draconian. It's evil.
Yes.
You're a terrible person.
And it always boils down to they're pushing the seniors out. They're going to starve the children, and they're going to hurt the poor.
It's going to get worse when the same argument comes up on Christmas Eve. It's going to be incredibly bad.
It is, and that's when this super committee reports back to us and tells us what we have to do. And the other thing, though, that's going to happen is because the super committee will be coming up with recommendations, other committees, which are constitutional, or not constitutional, but they're full-time, they will be basically out of work. Because if you're on the Agriculture Committee, you're on the Ways and Means Committee, and you come up with a proposal September 15th to cut the budget, here's what's going to happen. People can say, oh, no, you're getting ahead of the process. And the process says we got this super committee, and it's a bipartisan committee, and that was the agreement. Therefore, even though I like this proposal, since it's only September 15th, we're not going to take any action on it until December when the super committee comes back. So you're just going to have more and more procrastination on a very urgent problem.
Now, does it surprise you? Last week, I think it was CNN and Gallup poll came out and said that we are now at the first time ever that so many people, we always hear that people don't like Congress. Now we're at the point where people are saying, we don't even like our own representative and senator. We want to throw everybody out. Does that number surprise you at all?
It doesn't surprise me, because people are really frustrated and they just don't know what to do. Now, I think you can make an argument to say that what we saw on the August 2nd budget agreement and that kind of impasse really was our Constitution in action. The Founding Fathers designed it so that it would be difficult. They don't want anything to be done quickly. That was their vision constitutionally. We did not get in this situation overnight. We're not going to get out of it overnight. My friend Alan West says it takes 5 miles to turn an aircraft carrier around. And that's part of this process. But you have to yank on the wheelhouse pretty hard to show people that you're really turning it. And I think that's where the frustration is. They're not convinced, neither was Standard & Poor's, that what we proposed on August 2nd was a hard turn in a different direction.
Well, it's going to be another wake-up call when Moody's comes out, Fitch comes out. Everyone else just lined up to say the outlook is not as rosy as we're being told it is.
No, but let me say one thing that is really good. We have changed the discussion. The discussion is all now about spending cuts. Now, as a member of the Defense Committee, I don't want anyone to ever forget for 1 second, and I know in a military town like Valdosta it's not going to happen, but around the country we cannot forget we have soldiers not just in Afghanistan, not just in Iraq, but actually in 60 countries deployed all around the world. We have over 300,000 soldiers spread around the globe, and we need to remember military and national security, but one of the best things we can do for our soldiers to show our appreciation is to clean up our physical house in Washington.
Now, before we let you out of here, we got to quit at 7:58, so I have about 2-3 minutes left with you.
So I better filibuster. That's what I'm hearing.
No. Quick question. Ames, Iowa, we talked about this over the break, and of course we can't keep you all day long because I know we could argue about Iowa and its over importance, so to speak, and New Hampshire as well in the presidential campaign. Tim Pauline's already out, and I've gone on record in saying Rick Santorum, Newt Gingrich, Herman Cain, John Huntsman, all these guys are going to drop out before Georgia even gets a chance to vote.
And I agree with you. And I think that's unfair. I think that those three states, every year, Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, have disproportionate influence. And the reason why it starts out in smaller states is so that they would be players in the presidential selection, and it wouldn't just be a California, New York kind of Texas affair. But the reality is we should rotate that. It should be in Iowa one year and then the next year in South Dakota. Because, you look at the ethanol program, which has become very controversial. Yes. Everybody who runs for president, Democrat or Republican, they've got to basically sign off on the ethanol program. They embrace it
just because Iowa otherwise is not going to give them the support.
Absolutely. So if one state has a pet peeve, a pet project, those presidential candidates have to sign off on it. But here we are. You and I basically have been denied the opportunity to take a serious look at the Tim Pawlenty presidential campaign because it's over with. And it was over with in Iowa. He never stepped foot in Georgia.
Yeah, not even close. So here's the thing with the remaining folks. Let's say, for example, I don't know, let's give you a name. Rick Perry calls up and say, hey, you know what? You're a great guy. You make a fantastic vice president. What do you think? Good call?
I'll say, Mr. Perry, I've just been reapportioned not only out of Valdosta, but out of the United States of America. So, yes, I'm looking for a job. Count me in.
Mitt Romney calls up asking the same question.
I'd make a run for it, and don't leave out my friend Michelle Bachmann.
Michelle Bachmann. I was going to get to that. Michelle Bachmann calls up and goes, hey, Jack Kingston, I got the North, you got the South. Let's make this happen.
I'd make a run for it.
Ron Paul out of Texas calls up.
I'd make a run for it. Ron Paul in that debate the other night had some really refreshing comments.
Yes.
And you know who else did? Huntsman. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not a Huntsman supporter, but he did make some very good points. So, I would like the full party, all 10 of them, to come to Georgia. And we need to change this system so that we can participate more. And there's a lot of other states that feel the way we do.
Absolutely. Jack Kingston, I truly appreciate you coming by. And real quick, what's your website for people if they can't catch up with you today at Bob Lure?
If you just put Jack Kingston, you'll get there. And there'll probably be all kinds of hate pages you can get to, too. But you can find it just at jackkingston.com.
So if you want to Bing or Yahoo or Google this, man, you can definitely do it.
Absolutely.
All right. Jack Kingston, thank you so much. Appreciate you taking the time. And, go back to work, September, October? Eventually.
We will be working between now and then, but it will be in Georgia.
Jack Kingston, I appreciate it. Quick timeout right now. Kim Commando, she's up next with our techno update. Let's go to Kim Commando right now on the Morning Drive News Talk 105.9. This is WVGN.